Good morning. Well, I'd like to take just 1 second to chat with you about our expo, because it's this huge event that we all as volunteers participate in. And I'm not as young as I used to be. This is our 14th year, and I'm 14 years older than I was when we first started this sort of thing. So I'm not capable physically of doing it all, and I don't want to. So your help is greatly appreciated, and unfortunately a necessity. That, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. So there's going to be things that we'll be able to clarify with you as far as volunteers. I have someone who is a project manager out at Hanford who is retired and is going to take that on for us and be able to manage the volunteers. So yay! So as soon as I asked her help on that, she said, "Okay, so I need a list of what volunteers are necessary, and we'll write up a description of what the tasks are." I was like, "Oh my gosh, what a concept!" It's been, show up and find something to do, and it all gets done. And usually it does. It always does. It always does. But it could get done more effectively and more easily and more joyfully with a little more organization than I am capable of. So we'll have help with that, and so more information is coming on that. Our expo is this wonderful outreach that we do. It gives people a chance to realize that there's something else out there. We kind of get our narrow focus and think this is how it's got to be and this is how it always is. So to have an expo and really open the doors for people, it's just such a delight for us. And it's a huge outreach for us as a community to outreach into the greater community and share. What I want to share with you this morning, did you want something?
I was saying something about the expo, but
No, go. Too late. You already.
I was going to tell a real quick story.
It's curtains for you. Good one, Sharon. Good one, Sharon.
Actually, I was just going to tell a story. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he first did our show, I think 5 or 6 years ago. And when he showed up, I guess he wasn't quite sure what we were doing. He was setting up his booth and everything. He looked around and saw all these tarot readers and all this other stuff. He was a very, very conservative Christian. And yet he did some healing things that were of great value. And so he saw all this and he goes, "Oh, I'm not sure about this." And he went outside. It's like, should I be here? And so he called his wife, and his wife says, "Well, I can come down and help you take the stuff down if you want." And he goes, "No, that's okay. I can do it myself." And she says, "Well, you're going to get your money back?" And he goes, "Well, that probably wouldn't be fair since the show's tomorrow." So he says, "Well, just hold on a second. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to pray about it." So he just kind of looked up and said, "God, should I be here?" And his answer back was, "These people are just trying to help too." And he went, "Oh." He's been with us most every year since that time, and so I find it interesting that something like that would have happened to that particular person. So anyway.
Love it. Thank you for sharing.
Maybe half a curtain.
What was that?
Said maybe he'll only get half a curtain tonight.
He never gets curtains. He never gets curtains. We don't do the curtain thing. All right. Oh, I have to tell you, it is so much fun to prepare messages for you. It's just like the most fun thing in the whole world, and here's why. Spirit will bring me an idea. Like this week, I must have had 4 or 5 different conversations where we talked about training wheels on bicycles. Remember those training wheels? And it was like, well, I wonder what that's supposed to be. And so other things have happened through the week, and it was like, well, this feels like it has significance, but I don't know what the significance is. So then this morning I'm in the shower and hair and just thinking about, well, I have no idea what today is supposed to look like. I hope it turns out okay. Just being open. And boom, I get the connection, and it's like so funny. It is so funny. So you're going to love this. Well, I hope you're going to love this. I hope you love it half as much as I do, because then you're going to be thrilled, because this is just a hoot. This is just a hoot. First of all, I want to talk to you about training wheels. Remember training wheels on your bicycle? When we were growing up, there was a whole neighborhood of kids, and we were all about the same age. My brother was a little older. The gal I played with, she was a little older than me, but younger than him. Then there was me, and then there was her little sister. And so we all got bicycles at the same time. Well, my brother took off on his, bounced right away. My older friend, she just took off on hers, bounced right away. Me, not so much. I kind of utilized my training wheels a bit. The younger one, she rode on a training wheel. And then she'd ride on this training wheel. Then she'd ride on that training wheel. And she had fun. And eventually she got her balance and she was good. And I think sometimes we do that. I think sometimes we ride on our training wheels. And that's okay, because we're learning to get our balance. We sang the song, "When we learn to walk in balance, the healing will take place." Healing of ourselves and the healing of the world. Healing of the earth. So let's look at the training wheels that we're on. Okay? So we talked a little bit last week about the training wheel of, sometimes we use a training wheel of beating ourselves up. You should do this, and you should do that, and you should do this other thing. And we use that to keep ourselves going. Well, there's the other side of the training wheel, the other side of that coin. And the other side of that coin is indulging the inner brat. Now, we all have an inner child, right? That innocence, that sweetness, that open curiosity, and that's the part of us that we love to nurture, and we love to help have wonderful new experiences, because it's this fresh breath of awakening that fills our soul. The inner brat, however, can be a little tyrant. The inner brat wants what it wants, when it wants it, and wants it now, and it wants it its way. Am I the only one that has an inner brat? So we vacillate on our training wheels from beat myself, I gotta do it, I can't do it now, I've got to make this happen, to the other side of, I'm not doing anything, and you can't make me. I better restrict this, and I better not do it right, and I better do it this way. And the other side, I'm going to do it my way. I don't care what you think. I don't care what's up for you. I've got to make everybody happy. Oh, I'm going to make myself happy. And we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes we ride on this side, and sometimes we ride on that side. And when we can learn balance, then we're neither one of those have effect, and we can take our training wheels off. We don't need that anymore. They used to laugh at me when I was a kid because my knees were skinned all the time. I fell down a lot. So I probably should have kept my training wheels on a little longer than I did, but I didn't. And it's really funny, instead of buying me a little bicycle, my parents thought, well, let's give her the Cadillac. So it was a big Schwinn. And my dad had to put blocks of wood on the pedals so I could reach the pedals. And I don't know about you, Schwinns are heavy, So I'm trucking along with this thing. But I got it. So, I've always taken on big stuff. So this being in balance, I think, is what we really want to chat with you about today. And so I've been holding on to this walking in balance, being balanced. Okay, what does that got to do with anything, and how am I going to share that today? So last night, this big wind has been happening. And I don't know about you, but my little doggie has not been a happy dog. So we have herbal stress things that we give her, and she has anti-anxiety medicine, because otherwise she'd just be a hysterical mess. So even in spite of that, she still has problems. And the wind would howl, and she'd get up and claw the bed. And I thought, okay, Janice, you've got tools. You've got skills here. So let's use some of them. And I was reminded, it's like spiritual V8 moment. Years ago, I talked to you about wind riders and how we can change the weather. And if you weren't here for that, I'll look and see if I can find it on my computer and send it out to you in the next email that comes out. But in essence, this is being able to influence the world around us, the weather around us. And so wind, especially since we have so much of it here, has its own unique energy. And one of there are different tools to utilize for that. One is to consciously go to where the wind is going and slow it down. And one is to go from where the wind is coming and hold it back. And one is to get into the wind and just calm it down. Just calm it down. So I chose to just calm it down. So the wind would be whipping around and the dog would be a little upset. And I would take my consciousness out into the wind and I would go, be still. Be peaceful. Peace, be still. And I was reminded the Bible story of Jesus calming the storm. And how he was asleep in the boat and the storm was kicking up. And one of the, I think it's Matthew, said he rebuked the wind. And in other places he said, hush, be still, or peace, be still. And so the peace, be still. So I just kept saying, peace, be still. And the wind would settle down. And then I'd fall asleep. And then the wind would kick up again and the dog, turn around. Peace, be still. Now, here's the deal. Whether I just created peace within myself and the dog experienced it, or whether I created peace within the dog and I experienced it, or whether I actually calmed the winds down, I couldn't tell you, but I got sleep. And I was way okay with that. But here's the deal with the peace. This peace had to be coming from within. If I was in a place where I was upset with a dog, couldn't affect anything outside of myself. I had to be in a place of peace. And when I had that peace within, then I could bring that peace to this outside realm and go, peace, be still, be still. And I could feel the wind calm down. The gusts were not as intense. So let's talk about this peace within. Because sometimes we're riding training wheels about aspects of our life, and that takes us out of peace because we're out of balance. Sometimes we look at religion. It's got to be a certain way. So we're riding that training wheel. We got to follow this religion, or we got to follow that religion. And we're out of balance. And we forget that underneath religion is the fact, the truth, that you are a precious child of God. You are a precious child of the universe. You are a precious, sweet being of light. And when we get into that truth, religion is just an expression of how I choose to manifest that for myself. And I can let go of whether you believe the same or you don't. Same thing politically. Perhaps a Republican or perhaps Democrat. And we ride that training wheel or we ride that training wheel, and ne'er the two shall balance out. And yet the truth is this, that in order for our country to be the best country it can be, we need both. We need a balance between the two. And when we can have balance, then it just is much easier and much smoother. When one has to have their way or the other has to have their way, we're out of balance. And the country shuts down. Political energy just shuts everything down. If you look below that, if you look below the political shift one way or the other, underneath that is people who really care about their country. This is the best country in the world. Anybody have ever traveled outside of America? And you come back and it's like, America's the best country in the world, and we've got issues because we're the best country in the world. We have choice. Some countries have no choice, but we have choice. And because we have that choice, we work at finding that balance. So when we're in that space of balance, whether it's religion or political aspect, whatever, we get below, this is my preference of how it should be, or your preference of how it should be, and we can get down below that and get to the truth of it. And when we're in the truth of something, we're in that balanced state of being. And it's that balanced state of being that generates peace. And when we're in that place of peace, we can influence our outside world. When I'm at peace, I can influence the world outside of myself. I cannot change you. I can't change anything, but I can change me. But I can also influence whatever's going on outside there when I'm in that place of balance and I'm in that place of peace. So I want to walk you through a guided meditation to bring you into that state of peace. And I want to share with you tools by which you too can start to influence things outside of yourself. Not that you don't already. Have you ever noticed when you're in a hurry, every street light is red? And when you have your checkbook out and you need to write a check or you need to check your voicemail or something, every light is green. So when you're in that place of peace and everything's moving smooth and it's all good, lights are all green. And when we're stuck and backed up and churning about something, the lights are red. Phil and I used to laugh. He'd be driving up. Will you do something with these lights? Or will you calm down? It's being in that place of peace can and will affect the world outside of you. We can't change other people, but we can affect the world outside of ourselves. So let me walk you through this guided meditation.